Yeah, hopefully that goes live soon. I love this glass. It's like straight from the 2049 movie, the Blade Runner movie. So I had to buy it to go along with Oh, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Whiskey Untitled. Today on the Whiskey Untitled, we'll be talking about single barrels. You already know this if you came over here from Instagram. And if you didn't come over here from Instagram, what are you doing with your life? And if you did come over here from Instagram, you already know, like I said, single barrels are the name of the game today. We're talking about single barrels American whiskey, single barrels not American whiskey, single barrels, whatever single barrels. As long as it came from one barrel, we're talking about it. This glass is so pimp.
Come on.
The Blade Runner bottle looks so cool.
And
so this
together.
glass looks really angular and very cool. And it's it's a design prop from the movie that they.
Oh, is it? So that is supposed to be part with it.
Yeah, this is like literally the shape of the glass in the movie. So they were selling them. I don't want to talk about how expensive they were for a pair because it was stupid, but I really liked the design.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wanted to go with the bottle. So I bought one like an idiot.
I did not know.
Two like
I thought that was just like a separate one. Does it have the Johnny Walker things underneath it and stuff? A little branding?
No, it's not Johnny Walker branded. Like I said, I think they're reps of the ones in the movie, but they did a really good job copying it, and they charged.
Hey, Tove, what's up, man? But yeah, no, trying to figure out what to talk about. There's a lot of controversy happening right now in the whiskey world.
Should we talk about it just to get it out of the way?
I think we will, but and then we'll go into the topic. I think at this time where we're seeing all these different releases this year, seeing how different brands are innovating in that kind of space, and a lot of people in the community, maybe even people in the chat, are starting to move towards that single barrel lifestyle. I think that's where people normally progress, and are doing their own picks and their own store picks and stuff like that. So,
whoa, Delmore 1972, like that's what you're just sipping on, chilling on tonight? Because
why not?
Wow,
sounds fancy. That's what it is.
Wow, fancy.
But yeah, no. So
that's how Bianca would say it.
Since you in chat, what's your in your glass today? I actually have two. So,
I mean, I have what's in this glass. What belongs in this glass? It's Johnny Walker 2049. Oh yeah. Not
for
just
me,
black. The black is not that great.
Fine, the 2049 black.
2049 is amazing.
So I was lucky enough that one of our fellow listeners over here, Paguste, sent me some samples.
What did he send you?
So he sent me the Hill Rock Single Malt PX finish. The camera here. Right?
And he sent you the Caveman Solus Amontillado.
No. He gave me the Weller single barrel.
Can you put the label close up so I can see it?
Weller foolproof single
barrel. How did
barrel.
he get my address? Did you give him my address?
No, why would I do that?
Does he just have my address?
Yeah, he probably does. But yeah, so excited to try those.
I just got the same. I just got these in the mail yesterday. They had no return address. It had nothing on it, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to drink these because these could be just drugs.
Yeah, so he said he was going to send me some stuff, and he's the only person that I know that's going to send me some stuff. So I hope it's him. Who else could it be?
I have no idea. All I know is that when I got him in the mail, I was like, I wasn't expecting anything.
Hey, or it could be Shimon.
Shimon definitely has my address.
Yeah. So if it is Shimon, next time write your name on it, because I really do think it's what you call it.
I have so many samples set aside for Shimon. It's stupid. That was a lot of essence.
But then again, I could be wrong. I actually double check now. I didn't ask. I just assumed.
Kevin, what did you mean by there's a topic, a whiskey in Montreal? Could you do me a huge favor and tell me what you're drinking instead?
Yeah, let us know what you guys are drinking. Actually, maybe it's not.
I'm super curious.
Maybe it's not Bugusi. I haven't seen these. But they're both New York.
I'm telling you,
it's him.
I don't know who sent it, but I'm kind of freaked out.
Don't be freaked out. Now I gotta Google and ask. Anyway, I'm drinking them, so if I die on show, there you go. But yeah,
then I know what not to do.
No, yeah. So that's what's in my glass. Yeah.
Did you get any new bottles this week?
No, so I was planning to get some new bottles, but I personally went and invested in more computer parts.
Oh, makes sense.
To be all honest. to get the stream better, to be on, and to be able to pop in maybe a third or fourth person in our show. So
Let's do it. I also invested in more.
Did you send us this stuff or no?
Smoke wagon, uncut, and red spot. Oh, okay. Toll with the Manhattan. That's what I'm talking about. What did you use for the Manhattan though?
Pagusta, did you send us these or no? So we need to know because I thought it was you. Oh, see, there you go. So it's him.
Oh, okay. Where did you get my address? Have we exchanged things before? I'm super nervous.
Have. We just want to make sure so we don't die on the stream. And yeah, no bottles. I have
recently?
Purchased a bottle, but it's still at the distillery because I can't go there yet. So yeah. What about you? What did you get?
I bought a bottle, but I feel too lazy to go get it at this point in time.
What is it? Come on, tell us, man.
Not grabbing it.
Come on.
No.
All you.
Save it for next week. I'm all right.
All right, sounds good. Don't worry about how I got your dress. Ugh.
I don't like that. So Whiskey Prism did the same thing, and like he got my address from someone else, and I was very discomfort.
I bet you were upset with the person that gave it. That's the thing.
But yeah, this is why I want a fake address.
Oh, that's why I have a PO box.
Like store closed.
All right, so this week has been a very interesting week in the whiskey space. Trying to get the person's. So we have.
I knew it. See, there we go.
So there you go. Yeah, Becky Paskin, who is a writer, wrote an article about sexism in the industry and targeting Jim Murray, who does the Whiskey Bible. It's something that gives out awards every year.
Before you go any further into this, everybody who's in chat, can you do me a huge favor and just write a yes or a no for if you've ever read anything from the Whiskey Bible? Just write like, yes, I have read from the Whiskey Bible, or no, I haven't.
Yes, I have.
I'm in the no, I have not read anything
Ever?
from the Whiskey Bibles ever. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Almost bought one at a store because I saw it and literally was like, I'd rather spend the money on whiskey. And I ended up buying more
bought
whiskey.
one, I think it was because of the Japanese boom. I think that was 2016 or something like that.
No, was 16 the Northern Harvest Rye?
I don't remember.
Somebody
I gotta find my book. My book's here somewhere, but I have purchased one.
Oh, yes, Tolva, a man after my own heart.
But yeah, no, it is very interesting, and so just to get into the grips of it, there was some posts that I hope it's Becky, right? Yeah, Becky noted that it was either sexist or degraded women, and so on and so forth, right? Where I think me and Wally are both in the camp that anyone can say whatever they want to say. It's, I want to say, a free country, but overall,
it is.
Can
I say something? Sorry, I'm going to rant for a second. Is that okay? Everybody who says that we don't have actual free speech in America because you can't yell fire in a theater is the dumbest idiot I've ever heard. That is such a garbage argument, and it's on a government website that somebody keeps linking. Here's the thing. You absolutely can yell fire in a theater. Can you also suffer the consequences if there is no fire? Absolutely. Can you also save a lot of people's lives if there is a fire, stupid? Absolutely. Here's the thing.
You talk about perjury and stuff.
What you want. Sure. There's slander and libel and slander. There's things that you can do to take the words that you say and make them worse. Absolutely. Yes. But do you have the freedom to say whatever you want? Yes. Welcome to America.
Yeah, you could say bomb in an airport, but then there's a consequence towards that.
If you say bomb in an airport and there is a bomb, no one's going to be like, we need to arrest that guy for saying bomb. Yeah. Bomb. No one will arrest you. Everybody will be like, what a hero.
But if there isn't,
correct. Boy who cries wolf problems, though, that's a whole different issue. Also, and he doesn't care. Literally today, when I got home from work, I was really thinking about like the whole everything going on Instagram and all this stuff. And I really thought about this. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but I was sitting on the toilet and I was like, you know what? I don't have enough energy to care about every topic that comes up. So from now on, if it's not life or death, I don't care anymore. And I know that sounds weird. And you know what happens when you type that in Google? It says you're clinically depressed.
Yeah, I'm like,
but literally, like
other problems.
I can't. It's like that old expression, like pick the hill you're gonna die on. I can't die on every hill because you can only die once. So again,
I don't think this is a hill.
I'm gonna stop wasting energy.
I think for me, it's not even the fact that he himself talked, because I think we talked about the whole letter by letter of like what sexism is, what's misogyny, what's like all those key terms that people are putting in there.
And like I said, when I broke it down last night before I went to bed, like misogyny means you hate women, and from his writing, that's not what he's saying at all.
Yeah.
And to say something is sexist specifically implies there's a discriminatory factor happening
Yeah.
there. So without discrimination, it's technically not sexism. So what he's saying isn't sexist or misogynistic. What he's saying, and I really thought about this while I was driving to work today, was vulgar. It was vulgar. It was immature. If you can't find better words to describe whiskey, you're a child.
Objectifying.
Like, that's all it is.
I think objectifying.
So
I think that's where
it's objectifying. Sure.
Yeah.
But like between objectification, vulgarity, and just inappropriateness.
Yeah.
Again,
and that's where I feel
words, come up with better ones.
And that's where I feel as though a lot of, and I don't even, it's not even talking about her article. It's talking about the people that are commenting below it, right? Like a lot of people are, you know, oh, I'm this, or cancel culture, and so on and so forth. I just think that her article brought up the fact that there are people that talk like this way. They describe things in which other people might find offensive. And how
but those things are, I mean, minus this being published in a book, he self-publishes, by the way. He literally started a publishing company just so he could do this. So it really is a money grab. Minus the fact that he's published in a book.
Yeah.
I really do think like this type of thinking, and I know it sounds very backwards to hear it from somebody like that, putting it in a book that so many people respected. But like the reality of it is that's antiquated. We're moving past it. A lot of us are already beyond it and didn't even know about it until people started talking about it. And now we're like, why was that okay then? Like, why was this supported before? Like, how did we get here? 10 years of him publishing books.
Or just like the fact that, you know, women couldn't vote till like when, right? So it's like
1920.
Things change, suffrage. Right? And I feel as though that I think it's like he said, you can write whatever he wants to write, but it's the brands getting tied to that because brands were using his book, his opinions to sell more product.
But now I'm curious, how many of those brands are in like my boat? Like I would say to people like, hey, the #1 whiskey of the year was Crown Royal Harvest Rye. We all said it. And here's the thing. I was making a reference to his high rating for it because everyone was saying that's the #1 whiskey. But how many of us actually read the book? Like, I feel like a horrible whiskey Instagram person, especially somebody who does as much research on brands that I do. Like, I feel horrible that I even referenced the book because I didn't know what it was about. I had no idea. I was just like, well, that's #1 in the Steve stupid.
And I think that's what it is, right? It's not the fact that what he's saying is the key thing. It's like, is the brand wants to get attached. Like, I think it was Beam Suntory actually sent a note saying that they are happy about that their product won, but they don't want to be associated with the descriptors of what that whiskey was. And to be honest, it makes sense. So like, if someone says like, hey, this is the best whiskey because it tastes like this, then it's fine. But if it's like, oh, because it lathers butter all over a man's body or something like that, it's like you don't need that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, this conversation came up with me and Sturgill, and he said that my butt cheeks were like 2 Glenrothes bottles, and I was simultaneously offended and kind of impressed that he remembered my cheeks that well.
Or remembers which Glenrothes, before or after the change?
He's talking about they're both kind of chunky and like pumpkins.
But yeah, so like I totally understand how people are going in. I don't think it's cancel culture. I just think that someone just opened up everyone's eyes or actually read the book, because I don't think a lot of us enthusiasts even read it.
I think most people didn't.
I've seen those things before, and I'm like, all right, someone was describing that way, but like that's not how I would describe a whiskey. But I can't put words into other people's mouths.
That's just it. So he's free to say it, but like at the same time, the number of people who actually will relate to it, that's a whole different issue. And like for those of us who've never read it and lost credit with him when he said Crown Royal was #1 in the world anyways, I haven't even been interested in what he has to say in 5 years.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to say anything vulgar. He just had to make stupid decisions on whiskey bests.
Yeah, and to be honest, Drew, I think a lot of people talk about cancel culture. I don't think it is.
I actually do think it is. Like,
I don't think people are canceling him. I think they're trying to break the relationship between the brands and him.
No, it's absolutely. Brands can do that on their brands can do that on their own, but the cancellation when people jump onto the same like issue that people are talking about.
I don't think he's gonna be canceled.
And then he already is. Like Whiskey Exchange already dropped his book, and like
dropped his book, but he can still publish it anywhere.
Before. That's the thing, is like he's gonna continue to publish it, but he's gonna have less huge avenues to actually get the book out.
I think he's not gonna have enough companies coming to him anymore. He has to buy his own products.
But that's the thing.
I think most people do anyway.
That is like cancel culture. That is exactly what it is, though. Like everybody got really mobby and was like I literally went through and screenshot a bunch of the posts in Becky Paskin's post because I was very curious to keep some of these forever, because some of the things people were saying, I was like, if that's the case, like if you were in a situation with him where it was like that, why didn't you say anything then? Or like,
I agree that this has been happening for a while.
Before.
And I think whiskey enthusiasts as a whole, that from what I know, this is my knowledge, right? From what I know, didn't care. Like people in our chat right now, they didn't care what he said because they already knew he was either a puppet or he wasn't
whiskey's
honest.
subjective anyways, and you
Yeah.
never know what it's like. Everybody's palate's going to be different anyways, so taking someone's review at any kind of weight is really only as good as you know their palate.
Yeah, like I wouldn't trust you with the peated expression under 15
I wouldn't
years.
either, but I would trust me with absolutely peated expressions once I get over 30 years.
Yeah. So like
because Lafroig 32 is fantastic.
and that's where like I don't think he's going to be canceled. Will it be less distribution or will he have less whiskeys to review? Yeah, sure. But
no, I think that companies are literally going to cut ties because of this, because everybody wants to save face today. And I know a lot of people love to drop the virtue signaling, but like some of these people are genuinely like, hey, we don't want to be associated with this kind of vulgarity. And I totally get it. And then some of these people are literally like doing the virtue signal thing. So like the same kind of person who would drop an F-bomb because they're trying to make a descriptor because they can't come up with a non-childish way to describe something is the same person who's saying like, this guy can't say these vulgar things. Like pick one. Like you can watch Game of Thrones and see incest of these two brothers and sisters banging, or you can like literally see some guy talking about the exact same thing describing a whiskey. Oh,
yeah.
This whiskey's like, you know, these two people on Game of Thrones banging it out who are brother and sister. Like
to be honest, we'll see. I don't think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't heard anything from his camp yet. So
he put out like I don't think he put out an apology, but everybody is afraid that he's just gonna double down. But we'll see what happens.
And to be honest, if I was him, I would double down too. Like that's how he describes it. You know, like
it's a really good.
It's a personal preference, but like you're being published and you're blinking a brand. A brand's gonna distance yourself.
Publishing yourself, and then you're getting brands to pay you so that they can get talked well about, so they can make money. It's all just money without people looking at ethics behind.
Okay, I'll take a look. In the article, you got these words. Yeah, I'll take a look because I can see someone saying, "Hey, this is their opinion," but it's up to the brands to see if they want to be.
It's like people who go to a really good restaurant, they have a meal, and they're like, that was orgasmic. Like, okay, yeah, food can be super good. Believe me, I think we all know it. For those of us who are fat, especially, we definitely know food can be super good.
Skinny people like food too, man. I'm not skinny.
Not like we do.
Yeah, we bring our own spoons, people.
All right.
But yeah, so there's that. Very interesting. If you guys ever want to have a conversation, I love these type of conversations because they're very polarizing. And I have no judgment. I think a few of you guys in chat already reached out, so I'm like, just like discuss. It's a nice talk. Because I think
my problem is I like to see all the sides.
Yeah, me too. And I think that's how you make an informed decision, right? Like we both agree that, and I reached out to you first and I actually sent this to you because of the fact that like larger companies were coming out, and I'm like, this is a bigger thing than just a writer.
It's so funny because if you didn't like hit me up about it, I was like, I wonder how much longer it would have taken me with the very little time that I spent on Instagram to like even hear that this was happening.
Yeah. So it was just once the bigger brands started coming out, then it's like, all right, this is a bigger thing than just a person writing an article on something. So it was very interesting.
We'll see what happens.
But yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I haven't seen any brand back him, which is really interesting because there's always like a brand or two that will like.
But then the way that like literally Drew's talking about cancel culture, the way cancel culture brand who back him are going to be the brands that people like don't buy that brand.
Don't buy that brand. Yeah, that's when you see it. Yeah,
they didn't outright say that they didn't back him. Like, stop being ridiculous. Like, just calm down.
And to be honest,
and don't buy the book.
The funny thing is, like, I think both of us, there's always a mix of, you know, that's why we did the show. That's why you did Scotch Sniff, like people of color. There's a decent amount of mix between women and men in the tastings that I've been to.
Like,
we don't see it as much as others, I guess.
Yeah, like I literally do not see it the way that a lot of other people are seeing it because, like you just said, like that's why Scotch and Sniff was founded. Like I sat down with my brother, I was like, hey, I want to take the stigmas from Scotch and take them away because literally, I know for me personally, if you go back 10 years in time when I started drinking Scotch, like literally the first thing that I thought of was like, oh, this is that drink that everybody associates with old white men sitting around leather-bound books, you know, and like this is how it's supposed to be. Like this is what Scotch is. But then when you realize like Glenfiddich 12 is $40 and it's literally for everybody, it's like, wait a minute, oh, this isn't what anybody told me it was. This is like a drink that anybody can enjoy. Then you start digging into whiskey and you see none of it's the way that any of it was ever portrayed in the 70s,
again,
60s, 80s.
We're both not women. We don't see what happens with them. Like I do see women getting hit on all the time in tasting events and stuff like that. So like we don't see that. So this is just from a man's perspective or a person of color's perspective on it. So
yeah.
All right. Now when we got the heavy load off our backs, it's all done.
That's out of the way.
Yeah. So single barrels. The reason why I brought this up is just because of the fact that, you know, I've been seeing a lot of special releases come out, And then I'm seeing people in the chat doing all single barrels, and I was like, I wonder if this is going to be the bigger thing, like with people not being able to go out because of COVID and so on.
People are looking for anything.
Are groups forming due to the fact that Zoom calls and stuff like that, and picking their own barrels.
I mean, there have been groups forming picking barrels for a really long time.
No, I agree, and I just feel as though that maybe now that's more of a club, right? But like more independent people coming in.
It's a group, though. I mean, like,
Yeah,
but what's the difference between a club where you're paying to be in and it's the same thing. Just one has dues.
I would say it's cheaper than secondary, but I don't know. Like, I've had some weird ass barrel picks.
So that's all right. So I showed you that one.
By the way, this Weller is actually pretty good. I don't know what the price is, but Gustav, if you could tell me what the price is for the foolproof, man.
So this is an example of a single barrel pick that somebody picked, and it worked out. I like this one because it tastes fantastic, not because it's a Willet. I didn't even care that it was Willet, and my friends were just buying it, and I was like, I'll try it. But then I tried it, and I was like, okay, I'll buy this. So the fact that it's a Willet doesn't mean a whole lot to me because single barrels, you can get anything. And so my issue with some single barrels, like store picks, I've had store picks that were horrible. Like, I will not buy a store pick Eagle Rare because all the ones I've had have been worse and less than regular Eagle Rare.
Yes.
I like Eagle Rare.
So I'm in the same camp as you. Like, I enjoy my Eagle Rare, just a normal 10-year-old. I've had stuff that are overly sweet and overly oaked.
Oh, I've had stuff that's just overly gross, and I'm like, did this really come from Trace? I really do, because some stores. So I've asked stores how they do their store picks. $45. Like, some stores do their store picks where all the employees try a little bit and they vote, which is stupid. Some stores do only the whiskey enthusiasts get together and vote, and that could be this or that.
I think it's better than the employees, but
it's only barely better. And then some, it's just the owner of the store picks, and you just go with it. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
You missed the fourth one, right? Where the company is just like, hey, we have this barrel, you want to take it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
What's that always worth, though?
Pick 1, 2, or 3.
Anything. So that's why, like, knowing the brands themselves behind it still is important, even though the barrels may be wonky.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, so I think it was like last week I mentioned that a pretty reputable brand was selling one for like, almost $500,000 and stuff like that. But like, it was a well-known brand, like, and it was a high-end year. So like, those things are just like unicorns, right? You just don't get that unless you're in the distillery trying those things out. So I'm wondering if the progression of single barrels, and let me know what you think, is going to move up to that more on, like, because right now we're seeing a lot of like Eagle Rare, like you noted, right? Like a lot of bourbon companies doing these single barrels, and they're lesser, like probably like 5 years or less, right?
No, some bourbon companies literally have been doing.
Oh no, I'm talking about like just people picks.
It's good. I'm just saying it's single barrel because you give a lot of this away to your friends so they can see that it's not that great.
Yeah. Here, Drew's got a good question. How about bottles you fill on your own and then you wait? How do you feel about it? I'm not a fan of that.
Like infinity bottles?
No. Like a brand would say like, hey, especially like in newer brands, like you mentioned before.
You mean like a hand fill, or like you fill it there and then you just wait for the.
No, like you fill a barrel, like so, like you're one like part ownership kind of thing. Like, hey, you buy a barrel, you fill it up, and then you wait 5, 10 years, whatever it want to be,
or whatever the period is that they decide with the contract ahead of time. Yeah, I mean, I'd be down for trying that. I may be in one and have not heard anything else about it since we started it.
Yeah, so and that's where
I'm only a couple $100. But.
And that's where I personally I'm not a fan of that because that's you, the consumer, pitching in the money for an investment, right?
We got to pick the mash bill though. So 8 of us got together and we literally got to pick. It's 100% malted rye, but we did get to pick the mash bill, and the distillery's in DC. So, but
the thing is, like, so you don't know the quality is going to be like. So it's a hit or miss.
We have no idea.
And that's the scary part is where, like, I understand. When you're a company, like you do that investment as well, but your choice is that, like, this is where I feel as though that I don't think people should be doing that, or it's very risky to do something like that.
Yeah, that totally would be a chore.
Yeah,
but it's like anything else. Like, that's why it's important to know the brand.
I agree,
and sometimes if you do know the brand, you can just do a nice, easy thing to do. So if you really know a brand, what you can do to get some whiskey in your hands, you can go get their single barrels, because some brands do that, which is always fun. Or you can go there.
Was that the Chivas company one?
We went to Strathula.
Yeah, so if you guys do go to Scotland, they actually have for all.
That's baller. This
distilleries. They
sad
have a
this
bunch of them,
bottle's going
right?
away. This Glentalker's, yeah.
And
They
that
have
was a
all the
bottle.
distilleries, all of them.
And that was a bottle that you were 50-50 about, and you got a little nudge.
Yeah, I literally, if it wasn't like pitch black when it was filled, like I would have been less interested. But it's first fill sherry, and it tastes incredible.
This is so weird. I'm getting like a vegetal note from this. It's so weird.
Is it a rye?
No, it's a PX finish.
Yeah.
Paguste, I'm
Vegetal?
chasing the Hill Rock single malt PX finish.
Oh no, that's rye. Hill Rock.
Is it?
Yeah, Hill Rock rye. Finishing PX.
I
the one that I
don't have
have.
any information on it, so that's what it smelled like celery-ish.
I have their double rye Solera, and it's super good.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, Dave Pickerel did a really good job with Hill Rock. Oh, and the other way that you can go ahead and go to a distillery
12,
and
we
get a
want it,
bottle,
man. We want it for sure.
the other way.
Oh, Pullman, yeah, the hand fill stuff.
Yeah, so you can hand fill. They had 2 barrels that were available. The one you wanted to hand fill. So my brother got a 18, and I got this 21.
And to be honest, that's one thing I miss a lot about those like single barrel distillery only kind of stuff. It's kind of cheating in a way where it brings you back to the distillery, even though like probably the flavor profile doesn't. It just, you have that memory stuck in your head, and then I still remember freaking Wally filling that Bow Blair up weirdly with a freaking like a sash or something.
Like a sachet.
Yeah, like I still remember that.
Put it in there like a Scottish sash.
Yeah, and
It was
even the lady
beautiful.
looked at him like, that was weird.
She's like, "Oh, that's super Scottish." I was like, "I know, because my last name puts me right here."
But
So
yeah, no,
many
like
dyers in
this is
Scotland.
where I feel as though that I wish Scotch companies were coming to us for this. Imagine having like a Balvenie,
single barrels?
Glenfiddich, yeah, and then like, hey guys, we want to do a barrel with you. Can you get 20 of your friends to?
I would be so down. And you just named 2 brands.
You broke up, so I didn't hear what he said. But I'm saying that
You,
don't
you
do
just
it.
named 2 brands that don't do single barrels anymore. Are you dreaming?
So I know people that have.
Single barrel Glenfiddichs and single barrel Balvenies without the name Wardhead or Burnside that aren't teaspoon.
And they cost a lot of money.
Yeah, good bajillion dollars, and I'm sure they sign NDAs and they
Cannot
Benryak
confirm or
published?
deny.
Oh, no,
But
that's legit.
that's awesome, man. Like, see, like, I bet you there's a crap load of people that would sign money over to you right now for something like that.
I mean, depending on
I
the
would.
brand. But Benryak, so Benryak is a weird one because like I've had
I would try.
Benryak store picks that were really good. I think, is this the Burgundy one or is this PX Sherry Punchin'? So I've had Benryak that's been good, and then I've had
This season.
Benryak that's been kind of funky. So it just depends, you know?
You want fun?
Oops.
Maybe we should do some barrel picks. Well,
I
then
wanna do
again,
a
like,
pick of this right here.
I don't think people would trust our judgment on certain things, though.
I would trust my judgment for this. Every single person who I've ever shared this with tells me that it's cocaine. And I know it is cocaine.
Yeah,
Like,
and sadly, he hasn't. Whatchamacallit? They have
these
20
guys know what they're doing. I know I need to send you a bottle. Calm thyself.
Yes. How can I when you talk about all this hype and then I'm like,
Because it's
I can't
that
have it.
good.
And
I
that's
sent it to Daniel Halson. Like he's one of the Patreons for Scotch and Sniff, but he
Boom.
hits me up all the time. And like I sent him a bottle, and he fell in love. And he's like searching for the bottles everywhere.
see, and that's where I feel as though that like it's a hit or miss with these single barrels here.
189.
Like once you get these, man, it's done.
That's the thing. Is
And
like,
I
that's
think
why
that's
you
the
need to know
love-
the brand because
the
like
love and
Wilderness
hate towards it.
Trail, they have their single barrels nailed down. They have their process nailed down. They have their
Yeah.
pHs in the distillation and the fermentation portion nailed down. Like they know what they're doing, and they're doing it right. And they're doing a good job.
And this is where I hope it starts growing more and more. Like we've talked about it before. We've seen clubs, basically make or get like 5-6 bottles and then collapse. Like we don't see the club, like we mentioned earlier.
Oh, like 95.
Yeah, like
95
they just
syndicate.
disappeared.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping more and more people do. I'm hoping like someone like the Scotch Test Dummies or something like that. Those guys with big audiences do something like that because that'd be
They
fun.
do a peated.
They would, but hey, man, I think it'd be great because then, because I think it was the Whiskey Library that we talked to. They don't
Oh,
make
yeah.
any money from that. Like
Correct. They
or
make
very
close to
marginal
no money.
Yeah,
And I actually, because of all the fees and everything, the
Yeah.
Kilcoman they broke even on. That was 20.
and then you need a partner store to put their license on it and bottling costs and all that stuff. So
Makers let you pick your aging and it lets you pick like staves and stuff, but it's
Yeah.
not the same. It's not the same.
no, and I think they just marry it too. It's not like they give you barrels and then they marry it together and stuff like that. So
Ooh, did you read what Tolv wrote?
Tolv, I bet you that Glenfiddich barrel, and it's probably going to be like less than 10 years maybe.
No, you just go to Glenfiddich and you have to just bottle them until you use that. at 150 a pop.
No, yeah, because like in my head, I'm like, you're gonna be paying like at least 300,000.
More.
I bet you,
Yeah.
right? 350,
That's the type
500.
of barrel.
And then when you think about it, you're like, crap, I gotta think about distribution. How many people really care about it? Maybe I'll buy 10 bottles.
I just have to become independently wealthy and buy the barrel.
Yeah, and I think that's where it is, right? It's like, yeah, like if you were spending that much money, they would fly you to Glenfiddich to do all that stuff for sure.
If you spend enough money and you have enough
I agree,
in Arabic influence on Instagram, I'm not throwing this person out there, but if you spend enough money, Macallan will come to you, approach you, and ask you if you'd like to spend, let's say, hypothetically, $500,000 with them so that you can get your own barrel that they'll age for you there up to somewhere between, 10 and 12 years? I forget what the stipulations were.
Really? Macallan for $500,000?
For the whole barrel.
Yeah, but even then, I'm like, nah, you want 18 plus.
I mean, whole barrel cast strength Macallan at $200 a bottle for the 500 bottles you're getting.
I know. I would do numbers. Like, was number 4, right? Number 4. I would do whole.
Yeah, but that's a blend itself.
But yeah, like for me, there's probably one company that I would want to do stuff with, but I know their barrels are in that $400,000 to $500,000 range.
Taste Select.
Yeah, no, it's you're paying for that luxury because like they're gonna put their name on it. Like if you tell Macallan, hey, we're never gonna tell you who put this on it, just give us a barrel, it'll drop the price down for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but the problem with that is NDAs and everything else.
Yeah. But I hope more groups like Taste Select Repeat and other clubs come pushing more and more of this stuff. I'm excited to see what people do, and I think it makes you fall more in love with the whiskey and the brand when you have a selection process towards it and stuff like that. And I don't think they have that much.
I mean, that's literally
that hard time.
Makers. That's Makers' thing, right? Like Makers tries to get everybody to become an ambassador, and then you can come in down and like try your barrel, which is just every other barrel that they fill, but this one has your name on a nameplate. Yeah. I mean, I have one. I have two, and literally my video guy and myself, we signed up at the same time, and we have a barrel together.
That's fun.
So we'll go one day when COVID doesn't kill us all.
If you agree not to resell it. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, I really feel as though that if we could get the whiskey community together, a bunch of the Instagrammers, YouTubers, and stuff like that, I bet you could get one together. Not even.
If you guys can get any big name brand, Macallan, Balvenie, I'm down for at least $1,000. And I know that's probably only like 5 bottles, but like I'm down.
I think most of us are. Because that's just a great thing. And then, or if we all go together and we all go to,
I'm in for more than that.
We go all for like for Instagrammer type, YouTube type trip and stuff like that. And we all do it together. I think it'd be amazing.
It'd be such a good time.
Yeah.
All you have to do is take this trip and then pitch it to the brands over there, and then.
But yeah, if you guys have suggestions, what would be your bottle that you would want to get single barrel of if you had unlimited wealth? It'd be awesome to kind of see where people are. I wonder if people are going to go the weird stuff or people go through their tried and true, like, I'm a big Macallan person. I'm going to go Macallan.
The answer that everyone will say is Springbank.
Ooh,
Could you imagine a Springbank local barley single barrel just for yourself?
For me, I would just go, what do you call it? Balvenie. I would go port cask.
Could you imagine?
There'd be one random port cask there.
Sherry cask strength by yourself.
Didn't we have that? We had that when we were there.
Yeah, we did try something.
And it was amazing. So I'm like, imagine a port cask, because I know there David Stewart has like a weird port ass cast like there. He's like, this is the one I'm going to save to when I die, before I die, or something shit like that. I bet he has one.
Everybody's got something like that. Ooh, Caveman.
Caveman would be a fun one, like a sherry cask.
It'd be good.
And you leave it for a bit longer. It'd be amazing.
It'd be so good. Yeah.
Anyway, on that note of happiness, we just want to say thank you guys so much for joining us. Really appreciate all the support. Patreon supporters, thank you so much for this.
We appreciate all of the comments because it makes the episodes fun.
Yeah, it makes us, this is basically an excuse for all of us to hang out and talk together, which is amazing. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. Wally, any comments?
About?
In general?
Yeah, no, I'm down for all these single casts.
I know. I want to stop looking because they're so good.
I'm trying to think of a brand that I wouldn't want to single cast. There's a problem. Like, I bet even there are Ardbeg single casts that are sweet, that are aged 100% in sherry that taste phenomenal.
Pagusa, just for you, man. The Weller Foolproof for $45. I think that's worth it. The Hill Rock. It's all right. It's weird. It made me go back for more sips than the Foolproof because it's so different. I don't think the sherry cast.
Foolproof store pick.
I don't think the sherry cast or the PX cast does much to it, but that rye note is more vegetal than I've tasted before. It doesn't give me that rye spice, so it's really interesting. I personally, this was something I'll be go back into, but it would be nice to go back and just like, oh, this is different. Because I'm thinking I'm getting more Wally rye, like the stuff that you don't like.
The stuff I don't like?
Yeah.
Pinguista, send me your address, please.
Boom.
In a DM.
But yeah, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. And what do we say on this? Cheers. Deuces.